Welcome to the 1970s Gladiator round tournament. We are down to the final 4 men in each decade. Robby Robinson takes on Lou Ferrigno in this titanic struggle of a matchup. This front relaxed position, it could honestly go either way when you look at that three-dimensional upper body of Robby Robinson, and not to mention the advantage in the abs. I could see somebody giving him this pose for sure. But if you know me, I'm a definite fan of the silhouettes, and in particular in the front relaxed position. Look at that silhouette of Lou. Not to mention the legs, they're just dwarfing poor Robby. Maybe not the best timing for Robby, but this was the best front relaxed position I could find. And if you're unfamiliar with how I judge these, I use the best pitcher no matter what decade they're in. Even though this is a 70s Gladiator round tournament, if it's a 90s pitcher, if that's the best for them, I use that one. But enough about that. Lou Ferrigno does catch a point here, but it is close. This front double bicep belongs to Robby Robinson. I really don't care who he is going against. He is going to have an advantage as far as them biceps are concerned. Now, Lou is one of the biggest bodybuilders of all time. Probably structurally the biggest. But when you compare the arm size here, it looks like Robby has it, just the shape of those biceps. It's an illusion, bodybuilding. But of course, one could argue and say Lou's better in the more modern era, but I don't think so. Have a look at this comparison here. Robby virtually looks the same. Look at the waistline. Now, Lou's waistline is much larger. Now, everything else might be larger as well, but when it comes to the front double bicep, a small waist really brings out everything else. So it's virtually the same here, same decision as the older pitchers. Robby Robinson takes a point. And I have reached a similar decision here in the front lat spread. Lou Ferrigno looks fantastic. It's going to take a Robby Robinson to beat him in this pose. This is one of Robby's best poses, hands down. This ranks up with his front double bicep for sure. And just food for thought, I also have this here comparison. And it's plain for me to see that the detail of Robby really comes out in this pose. And not so much for Lou, but the silhouette is still fantastic on the part of Ferrigno. The biggest, best front lat spread, I guess. But again, look at the waistline, a little bit distended. I prefer the older version of Lou. Now, this is where I really need to be politically correct, let's just say. For those of you who do not know, Robby Robinson is hands down, bar none, my favorite bodybuilder of all time. And this is a close one, so I could easily nudge over to Robby, and it could be justified. But I have to be true to myself, and if I'm not true to my channel, then it's really worthless. So I am voting for Lou in this. He looks a little harder and grainier. But other than that, look at the size of that chest. Everybody that knows my voting knows that I go for the big, booming 70s style side chest. And this is the epitome of that. Now, Robby is good too. And there's this pose here for Robby, which is totally different. Very conditioned, much more conditioned. But he has that split in the pec, and I don't appreciate that. And I still say Lou's just too big, and I just find the side chest so aesthetic. So Lou actually ties things up with that point. Now, this side tricep, I racked my brain over this one. I honestly was going to leave it out, but this is a very important matchup, and in the final four, I decided if you're out of pose, you're out of point. So I had to dig up the only comparison. It was very impossible to find a side tricep of Lou Ferrigno. Now, there was a couple of Robby, and I gotta be honest, not the best pose for Robby at all. Now, this is actually the only direct comparison I have, and this is gonna have some controversy, I'm sure, and I already see the controversy because it's not really fair. But Lou Ferrigno takes a point in this. It's plain for me to see. Look at the feathering and that tricep. But I don't know. I hate to do this, but like I said, if you're at a pose, you're at a point here in the final four, so we have to do what we have to do. Lou Ferrigno gets a point. And if the controversy favored Lou in that last pose, this is definitely going to have some controversy here in this rear lat spread. Not the best at all for Lou. But there was no pictures of his rear lat spread. It's very vexing why these top-ranked athletes don't have the mandatories in picture form. Now, Robby, even this one is not the best Robby Robinson. So I am sure that he would have won this anyway, but it's hard to say. Lou Ferrigno at one time had a fantastic rear lat spread. But like I said, Robby's was better too. I seen some photo shoot pictures of him. Wow, mind-blowing. You gotta admit here, he looks good still. He's in his 40s. But anyway, Robby takes a point. This rear double bicep it's pretty close, honestly. I always thought Lou Ferrigno had one of the best back developments of all time, potentially. You can see the potential, it's there. Look at the lower lat insertions, and the man is a beast. You can see if his glutes were in shape there, he would also have a fantastic set of glutes, I'm sure. Small waist as well, but potential does not win competitions. Good conditioning does. And Robby Robinson's rear double bicep is world class. World class. Look at the arms. It is a rear double bicep after all. Although I usually do focus more on the back, but you can't avoid looking at the conditioning and those arms of Robby. Gets him a nudge in this one here. Now, of course, the most muscular belongs to Lou Ferrigno. Always will, in my opinion. Those big, thick pecs. And structurally, you cannot beat Lou in this pose. He is a giant. Look at those traps. Robby's doing everything he can here to win a point against Lou. His most muscular actually looks quite fantastic. But, I mean, nothing doing at all. Robby Robinson won the front double bicep clearly because he has one of the best front double biceps of all time, and ditto for Lou in this pose here. Wow, this is a fantastic matchup, ladies and gentlemen. Believe it or not, they are all tied up heading into this, the ab and thigh shot, and this is the final deciding pose. And I must say, I am emotionally distraught. I thought when I started this channel, I would really propel Robby Robinson and make his star shine and put him in the rightful spot as the true champion of his decade. But it appears that due to my point system, Lou Ferrigno has defeated Robby Robinson in this tournament. His ab and thigh is fantastic. Color me surprised. Lou Ferrigno, what conditioning for a big man. His older version, in my opinion, is hands down better when it comes to certain poses. Now, of course, he was much larger in his later years. The most muscular and things of that nature gets the Duke, but my soul. Robby does look good, but not his best pose. Not his worst pose, mind you. But there's just a hard, grainy quality of Lou Ferrigno in the thigh there that Robby just can't match. I am sad to say Robby can no longer continue in this tournament, but hey, Lou Ferrigno is one of my favorites as well. But much to my surprise, Lou Ferrigno advances on to the final matchup. Now we await the matchup between Arnold Schwarzenegger and Albert Beckles. Now I would say Arnold is going to win this clearly, but honestly I would have said Robby had this one in the bag. And considering I was the judge, I mean, come on. But you never know the way it's going to go. I judge these as fair as I can. And if Al Beckles takes that could be the upset of a decade, the 70s decade. But who knows? Lou Ferrigno awaits the winner of that matchup. One to look forward to. I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day.